So, as anyone watching this will tell you, I am usually pretty negative when it comes to the Utah Jazz. And the reason why is because for a while, actually, I was actually really down on the Utah Jazz. And then they went on that amazing 14-5, win loss run, and everything seemed really great. And then they went 2-6 over their last 8, and then beat the Bucks, going 3-6 over their last 9, and then obviously winning tonight. So 4-6 over the last 10. Not bad necessarily, but I was really negative on the Jazz for a little bit because I saw what they could be, and then they proceeded to revert back to the team they were before, going on that really great, 14-5 win loss record. They seemingly reverted back. And that's why I was kind of disappointed in the Jazz for a while. Um, over that 2-6 game stretch, that was hard. It was hard to see the Jazz as anything other than reverting back to who they were. But to be honest, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. This win was really impressive. Um, it actually made me rethink my thoughts on the Bucks win from the other night. I said that the Bucks were on the tail end of a back-to-back. No Chris Middleton. They got into Utah Salt Lake City at what was it, like 2 a.m. is what the report said, and I thought they just ran out of gas and that was it. But then they proceeded to do the same thing to the Oklahoma City Thunder, the number one team in the Western Conference, the best team in the West. They did the exact same thing in the fourth quarter to the OKC Thunder. And once again, Chris Dunn and Keontae George, they are a revelation together. I have nothing negative to say about the Jazz in this win tonight. And again, anybody watching this will know me. I am very negative. And maybe I'm just pessimistic. I don't know if that's maybe I'm not really an optimistic. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty much optimistic about everything other than the Utah Jazz, which is crazy. But other than the Utah Jazz, I'm very optimistic about everything else in life. Um, I feel like everything happens for a reason. But when it comes to the Utah Jazz, man, they lose 3 games in a row, and I'm thinking that the world is coming to an end. I guess that says more about me than it does the Jazz, but man, tonight Chris Dunn played lockdown defense on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, Keontae George, is he really a rookie? Like, I mean, he's hitting some clutch threes down the stretch of an NBA game, looking like he is a 7 to 9 year vet. I mean, generally rookies are pretty phased by those clutch threes, and he just does not seem to be phased by it. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not saying that he is Donovan Mitchell or he's the next coming of Donovan Mitchell, but he has the confidence of a young Donovan Mitchell. I don't think anyone can disagree with the fact that Keontae George, that young man, has confidence. And Chris Dunn, how can you give his defense up, right? Come trade deadline, I would prefer we not trade Colin Sexton. I would prefer we not trade Jordan Clarkson, Kelly Olynyk, because having Kelly Olynyk out there allows us to have a height advantage without having a quote unquote point guard. And with Jordan Clarkson, what's crazy is the fact that he is the most tenured Jazz man on the Utah Jazz, and I don't think I'm alone in feeling that Jordan Clarkson is my favorite player on the Utah Jazz. And what's crazy is that he's been the most inefficient player on the Utah Jazz, and he's not hitting his threes. He's turning the ball over at an alarming rate. And I get it. Trade deadline. He's probably thinking, I'm gonna have to uproot my life. I'm gonna have to uproot my family. I'm gonna have to relocate somewhere if I'm getting traded. Um, it's a lot to think about, and to put it in more of in a way that most of us would understand. It's like if you're working at a job, right? So you're working a regular 9 to 5 job, and you are told that you might be going to a new location. Now, you have no say in the matter as to which location you go to. You're just told that you are probably going to a new location. Honestly, your thoughts are probably not going to be on your job most nights and most days. It's probably going to be thinking, where am I going? If I do go somewhere, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? And I know that Jordan Clarkson probably has people working with him that help him through these transitions, but still, it is a lot to think about. It's human nature to think about that. It's human nature to not be as focused on the task at hand. So I get it. But tonight's win against the OKC Thunder, I mean, I would let me put it this way: I would be okay with trading Taylor Horton Tucker. I'd be okay with trading Luka Šamanić. I mean, they said that Luka was playing in place of Ochai because Ochai was, I guess, had an illness. Was it really an illness though? I mean, was it really? Was it actually an illness, or were they just shopping Luka Šamanić around? I don't know. But I'd be okay with Luka Šamanić getting traded. I'd be okay with THT getting traded. But I know that you need to trade talent to get talent back in this league. So we're probably going to be saying goodbye to a Jazz man that we all know and love. I hope not, but hopefully with the gaggle of picks that the Jazz have, they don't have to do that. But tonight's game was just unbelievable. I honestly have no words other than just wow, that was incredible. And the OKC Thunder, I would be shocked if they are not in the finals. If you are an OKC Thunder fan, you are probably very much looking forward to the NBA Finals. Because the way they play, they're the one of two teams that are top 5 in defense and offense. That's finals bound. I mean, man, Sam Presti did it again. I swear. I have a video with well, it's actually Utah Jazz Wraith Hoops, but and if you're not familiar with him, please search Utah Jazz Wraith Hoops. He does great content on Utah Jazz. So if you love the Utah Jazz, he is the only um, non-Utah native that follows the Utah Jazz as much as Utah Jazz fans. And but what's so great about him is that he knows so much about every single NBA team. I don't know how he has the time to learn so much and remember so much, but because he works nonstop. But you know, Wraith Hoops, if you're watching, thank you, and thank you for inspiring me and for being such a great content creator. But you know, he and I did a video about how Sam Presti did it again. He basically found a replacement for Westbrook, for James Harden, for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a once in a lifetime talent, and he found a replacement for him. I mean, you got to give him credit for that. But the Jazz did what they did to the Bucks to the OKC Thunder. So maybe the Bucks win was a lot more important than I originally let on. I don't know. I mean, tonight's win was great. Trade deadline looming. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when the Jazz face the Suns. Right after the trade deadline, we'll see what happens. But I will say this: I've heard people like David Locke, which if you're not a fan of David Locke, I listen to David Locke on a regular basis. Um, I'm subscribed to his YouTube channel. I definitely recommend subscribing to David Locke on Locked On Jazz. But every time I hear him say that the Jazz are not focused on April of 2024, they're focused on you know June of 2028 to 2029. It kind of makes me cringe a little bit because from what I remember hearing about Danny Ainge is that Danny Ainge does not want a long rebuild. He's too old for that. And the reports I'm seeing is that Danny Ainge would like to make this team a contender as quickly as possible and would like to use this trade deadline to do it. So, because I don't think any Jazz fan wants to watch, a dumpster fire of a team for the next 4 to 5 years. I don't think anybody wants that. Um, so I really do hope they are trying for more of a linear progression of a rebuild than what other people are letting on. But anyways, regardless, a great win tonight. I'm my voice is going out. I was screaming the whole night. It was super fun. Really fun game. OKC Thunder fans have a lot to be excited for this year. They don't really need to worry about a loss during the regular season. They're, if I was an OKC fan, I'd be more focused on the finals of this year and not so much a regular season game because let's face it, OKC Thunder, they're going to be in the finals this year. It's just they're so good. They're so good. OKC Thunder fans have a lot to be excited for this year. Um, and honestly, if OKC Thunder win the NBA championship, I will be just as excited and happy as I was for the Denver Nuggets winning their first championship, um, as I will be for the OKC Thunder winning theirs. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So OKC Thunder put on a great show. The fans should be in love with this team. I know I am, and I'm a Jazz fan. So, anyways, other than that, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. No matter what happens, win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, and thankfully it was really fun and not ugly at all. It was just super great tonight. We're gonna react to it here on React to NBA. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.